which is my favourite way of getting the running buffet into the park? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to Triple Gaming with me, Fletcher, and the second in the Battle of the Buildings series, where I compare the 3 or 4 building eras in Jurassic World Evolution 2 to decide which I think is my favourite. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like, and if you're new here, subscribe for more dinosaur content from me on the channel. So, the arrival points. The vital methods in which your carnivores' lunches, your guests, arrive to your parks. Jurassic World Evolution 2 differs from the first game in that our arrival points can now be generally anywhere we like, rather than being stuck with a monorail entrance that we can't move, and this gives a lot more options for park building. So let's get comparing. The Jurassic World arrival point is a simple building, but mirrors both the viewing gallery and the aviary gallery, with these wooden curved decorations and white canvas stretched over the top. Ornate rock features and planting at the front offer a nice seating area for your guests, and the Spinosaurus skull is a nice touch too. One disadvantage of this entrance, strictly in terms of realism for me, is that the entrance is very much like the entrances of Prehistoric Kingdom or Planet Zoo, where guests just appear out of the ether. I like to think that this entranceway is perhaps above some sort of underground train station, or perhaps linked to a tunnel and a proper entrance elsewhere. However, a big advantage of this entrance is that unlike the other ones we'll be looking at, there's no obvious signs that it's there. It's compact and easily placed, which means you can use this fact to create your own ornate entranceways with monorails or path art plazas, whatever you like. Obviously, there's no way to look inside this building like we did with the viewing galleries, so let's move on. The Jurassic Park entrance is very similar to the one that we came to use in Jurassic World Evolution 1, although it has been redesigned. The pad itself is more separated from the guest area, and is located above ground level. There's also the use of wooden walkways to add some interest. The chopper is also new with this brilliant grey and red skin, which I really do like compared to the old blue InGen chopper. At the front, we maintain that Jurassic Park style with the fossil bed entranceway and thatch roof, and behind the building is another one of these ornate doorways with a nice welcome sign, which is a nice touch with that iconic Jurassic Park font. There are a few things I don't like about this entrance, again mostly for realism's sake. Firstly is this guest area, which is at least shielded from the helipad by the wooden wall behind, but there's no fencing or railings on the other side, so in theory guests could just wander in and out of your park freely, or off to the forests of your island, likely never to be seen again. It does seem to be a bit of a security hazard. Secondly is that there's no ground crew or safety equipment around the helipad itself, which again feels a bit like a safety hazard, especially if something went wrong on landing or takeoff, traditionally dangerous times for aircraft. That being said, I do like the big red caution signs. From guest to utilitarian necessity with the DFW version of the helipad. It's a very functional design, but I love the obvious touches here that make it clear it's a working helipad. You have the large Doppler radar dome at the back, and the fuel tanks at the front side of the pad. I also love how if you zoom close enough to the building, you get this ambient radio static that makes the building sound like an air traffic control tower. On the rest of the building, there isn't much to discuss. The solar panels are a nice renewable green energy touch, and I do like the design of the helipad itself with this distinctive and DFW green that is matched on the chopper skin. It's functional for sure, if not a bit visitor friendly. Now this last one is a bit of an Easter egg and only usable if you use particular mods. This is the Masrani helipad entrance that you only get on the Isla Sorna Site B Chaos Theory mode, and it's just a functional looking pad. There's no real features here apart from these cargo containers. So which do I think is best? The entrance from thin air, the classic chopper pad, or the functional arrival pad? For me, my favourite is the DFW building, solely because of all of the elements that make this feel like an actual helipad for aircraft. I like realism in my parks, or at least hints of realism, and this one suits me. But how can you use the other entrance designs? Let's go over a few ideas. The Jurassic World entrance is unusual in that there's 2 distinct and socially distanced path snapping points. This means you can use this to easily create simple avenues away from the entrance. Here's one that I made using the decorations that we have, ending in this nice little seating area. Using mods, you could even make this entrance part of a park exhibit by placing fencing along the sides and using rocks to hide the rear. Something to remember when designing parks is that with these arrival points being able to be placed down anywhere, you don't have to start your park at the edge of a map. Consider building a park from the centre outwards. With the classic helipad, it is tricky to get it looking good without using mods, and to do anything massively unique with it. However, something I like to do is, and you can do this without mods, is to just lower the terrain around it, or build it on a patch of raised ground. This makes it stand out, and if you surround it with water or an enclosure, it adds some interest. A realism point with this sort of pad is that while putting lots of trees around it looks very nice, it would in realistic terms be a massive danger. You would never get trees growing this close to any sort of aircraft area, and they would clear all the tall vegetation away for safety reasons, but also to make landing and takeoff a lot easier. Using mods, however, gives you a lot more freedom. Here I've used decorations and paving to create a nice little area attached to this guest zone and then sealing it off manually, therefore creating a bit more of a security-friendly environment. You could even join multiple types of this building together to create a much more impressive helicopter-heavy entrance. The Masrani pad is a little plain, so it's tricky to know what you could do with it if you have this particular mod. You could use it as further decoration for existing helipads, or perhaps as a cargo landing area for some sort of staff-only area or facility. So what am I going to do in my favourite entrance? Well, I'm going to use all the mods under my command to create a compact facility and entrance for a DFW park. And like last time, there'll be a montage of me building this so you guys can see what I'm doing. So here we go with creating my DFW facility, and what we're just going to do is start off by placing down a few of the basic buildings required here. So we've got the command center here, and I'm using the free build mod just to phase it into the entrance building there. So it looks like they're basically the same building. Just putting the perimeter path in. I'm building this on Canada because I quite like the backdrop of the lake and the mountains for this particular entranceway here. And I'm putting in one of the small hotels, the DFW hotels, because it looks like a sort of temporary housing / eating area for staff, which I think suits the DFW sort of facility vibe. I'm going to put in the rest of the perimeter path as well. Keeping it to the black one, which is functional and suits again the theme I'm going for here. Going to put in a staff centre building, just sort of attaching it to the hotel building for the DFW. Again, just to add a little bit of extra building to this particular facility, and again just phasing it in there. And now I've decided to put a perimeter fence around the whole facility here. So if this was particularly a dinosaur heavy area, we'd want our DFW personnel to be protected. So it makes sense for there to be a sort of perimeter fence line here. So sticking with the DFW fencing. And what I also decided, we'll put a gate in here as well, which will open so it works. But obviously that would be able to be shut if we needed to, if the dinosaurs were getting close. And now putting in an additional perimeter fence because I thought the first one was a bit weak. So double fencing it just to give it a bit of a bit more protection. By the way, if you want to see me build any of these locations slower pace, so you can see how to do some of these things, do let me know in the comments section below. And just going to give it more of a bit of an entrance road here. And lead it obviously downwards where you'd enter it into the park, basically. And now just going to do the environmentals around the edge. So we're going to have a water-filled moat, not too wide, just a little one, and then I'm going to surround this with sort of the vegetation for the area, keeping it away from the facility, obviously, like I said in the video, because you don't want helicopters crashing into trees. Layering the vegetation, which if you haven't already seen my building better enclosure video, I suggest you do, just to help differentiate add some depth to your vegetation and put in the bushes as well. And then just to finish it off, some scattered snow to match the rest of the wider environment of Canada. I'm using the light snow brush under the trees because obviously trees intercept some snowfall, so you wouldn't have complete snow coverage under them. And then the more open areas, you go for the full-on heavy snow brush because obviously there's nothing protecting them. And I'm just having a quick look. I think deciding to put in a few rocks just for a bit of extra emphasis. And there we have it. So that was my favourite entranceway. Let me know in the comments down below what your entrance preferences are and any ideas you have for the next Battle of the Buildings. Don't forget also to watch the other Jurassic World Evolution videos I've put out, and of course the other videos on other games from the rest of us at Triclaw Gaming. If you are new here, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see the rest of you in the next video. Bye bye.